self-made businesswoman who started with nothing and has ended up running a multi-million-pound business. She owns the strategy group and now focuses on helping people to look at their life and career and find the skills that they already have that might help them to start their own business. And I'm so excited because she's here with me tonight. Lisa, how are you doing?
I'm all right. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much for being here. I feel like we're all going to be able to learn so much from you. You know, this is the first step in our business journey, of course. So take us back to the beginning. Where did this all start for you?
So how it started for me is I was working as a PA in London, and I got pregnant with twins. And I was one of those parents that thought that you could just, they'll just slot into my life and I'll just go back to work. And obviously I had no clue. So at 5 months old, I went back to work and never saw them because, you go to work at 7 in the morning, you're coming home at sometimes 7, 8 p.m. at night, and they were always asleep. So I realised that A, that wasn't the life that I wanted for them, and B, the childcare. And so it was pointless doing it. But I knew that I needed to work in some way. So I left that job and ended up working really near the house part-time. But while I was there, it meant that I was getting into loads of 2 more mouths to feed, was going through a divorce. I was in a company where I was being paid a lot less than I had been in London because it was local. And so I decided instead to try and start a business at the same time. Now, I come from a very humble background where I didn't know anyone that had their own business. Grew up in a council estate like lots of us do, so didn't really know how to start one, but started looking online at, different webinars and workshops teaching you how to start a business and reading all the self-development books I could get. And so I started first a wedding planning business, which I think of as my training ground because I made every mistake that you could possibly make under the sun. And, after 2 years, I was doing a profit, I was doing okay, and people were asking me how I'd managed to do that. And so I was teaching them what I knew. I still had my 9-to-5 job at the same time. Well, it was nearly 9 to 5 by that point. It was part-time. And I was teaching them everything that I'd learned, but instead of kind of teaching it in a jargon-filled business way, because I feel like people make business really complicated, I was just teaching it in normal words and telling them what to do. And they were coming back to me saying, I've tripled my profit in my business. And I realised that actually the thing that I needed to do was help people who wanted to start a business. And so I started that just about 6 years ago now. And my whole life changed. I didn't realise how many people didn't know that actually they could make money, especially online, from the knowledge they had in their head, whether that's hula hooping, fitness, makeup, dating, kids, anything that people had hobbies in or had knowledge of. There was this whole multi-billion-pound industry online for learning that we can get a piece of. And so I've now taught over 4,000 people how to do that.
That's amazing. And I'm so fascinated by this in particular because I think when you think about, the idea of starting your own business or the people that kind of get rattled out regularly as examples of, self-made people who've had that rags to riches story, yeah. There's always, it always feels difficult. It feels complicated. Like you said, there's this business jargon that you go, oh goodness, I'm going to have to navigate that before I can even get to my idea in the first place. And that element of finding something that you already know or that you can already do must take so much that away. I mean, it's still obviously quite scary, I imagine, to start your own business. How do you encourage people to take that leap of faith in the first place?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be scary, though. I do think you're right in that when we look at business, even if you look at business pages in newspapers, who understands anything in there? I'm now a multimillionaire and I don't understand most of the things in there. But what we need to do is just think about if you've got a big piece of paper and wrote down all of the skills you have, skills from the workplaces that you've worked in or skills from the life experience you've had, or even if you come and think about things like courses and even memberships that there are online, there are now thousands of them, and workshops. If you think about when people say to you, can I pick your brains, or can I just go for a coffee because you're really good at this thing? That's the thing that you can sell. That's the first spark of an idea. And how I kind of realised that there was money to be made really quite passively online was I ordered a PDF ebook online on the internet of how to get around Disneyland with twins. And because that's what I needed at the time. And when I found this, it was only something like £49. And I phoned the woman who was in America and said, how many of these do you sell every month? And she said, oh, it makes me like thousands every single month. And it hit this light bulb in me that there are people that know things, and they don't need to be the biggest gurus in the world on them. They just need to know something that you want to know. And then people will pay you for that expertise. And if you can do that in courses, even better, because you only have to do it once and you can make money over and over again.
So what would be your advice, I suppose, to someone who may be sitting here listening to you talk about this and thinking, oh, you know, that's all well and good, but it's too late for me. I'm too settled in my life, or I don't know if I do have a particular skill, or where do I even get started with this? What's your advice to someone going, do I try?
Well, the first piece of advice is please don't worry about age. So I started when I was 40. And a lot of my clients don't start until their 60s because they've realised that actually they had a passion for whatever they have a passion in, flower arranging, whatever they want to do. And they have wasted the time that they have not doing the thing they really want to, because they didn't realise that it's kind of easier now with the internet and with social media to be able to sell the things we want to sell. So please don't worry about age. Now, when it comes to thinking, well, I can't find an idea, I have a program, and everyone that comes on that program says I can't find an idea. And after about 10 minutes of actually chatting to them about the knowledge that they actually have, they realise they have skills in all sorts of things, from parenting to how to navigate life, you know, whether it's grief or whether it's divorce or whether it's, you know, I have a client that now makes millions from sharing her experiences and helping other people who have come out of narcissistic relationships. So there's so much that we hold in our heads that we don't realise that we can sell. And once you know what it is, then it's simply a process online of growing an audience and selling them the thing that they want from you.
That's really, I think, sort of the underlying thing here, isn't it? That actually, you know, build on your life experiences and you know, just the things that you pick up every day. It might be a hobby, as you said, but it could also be something that you have dealt with yourself. And I think it's incredible the work that you're doing, and obviously, you know, paying off for you in the long run as well. So, you know, where can we actually go to find out more if people want to you know, join your course, find out more about how to get started in business? Where can we find you?
Well, I really believe in making things affordable, and as soon as you put courses out there, you know, there's money to pay. So if you are just starting out and you don't want to be, you know, paying out loads of money for courses and things like that, I have a Sunday Times best-selling book called Make Money Online that you can just get from Amazon really cheaply, under £15, and that way you can read exactly the process of what you need to do without spending any more money than that.
I love that. Can I just say, I mean, it's such a simple thing, but that ability to just be able to go, yeah, I'm gonna get a thing, I'm gonna get a tangible thing that's going to take me through it, the step-by-step process. Well, Lisa, it has been wonderful speaking to you this evening, and, you know, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for sharing your business acumen and making us all realise that it's not as scary as we think, starting a business.